Okay, welcome back, everyone. It is, let's see, what day of the week is it? Thursday, uh, mid to late August. I think it's August 17th. We're out here in the yard. So I'm getting ready to check on the status of a couple of these colonies. Just want to see how they're doing. I've been feeding 1-to-1 sugar syrup on all of these colonies since I pulled the honey supers, and I've been treating for mites with Apiguard. Unfortunately, I've had 4 colonies abscond on me. So colonies 3, 4, 5, and 7 all went poof. They're gone. I do think it was a result of the Apiguard. The rest of the colonies seem to be doing okay, with the exception of this colony number 2. I don't think they're doing very well. I did open them up a couple days ago, found the queen in there, but there's just, they're extremely lethargic, almost like they're starving. I do have sugar syrup on here. I've been feeding them. I had Jake over here earlier, and he thought that it could be paralysis virus because the bees look kind of greasy. So it could have been from mites, could have been from something else. They just don't seem to be doing very well. So we're going to keep an eye on this colony. I think this colony is doing okay. I'm anxious to look into a few of these after the Apiguard treatment to see if the queen has started laying again, if she's picked back up. This is the first year that I've had, I would say, significant impacts from treating. And, you know, hey, sometimes I learn my lessons the hard way, just like everybody else. I'm not perfect. I'm not a master beekeeper here. And so I didn't think there was much downside by treating without doing mite washes, and I'm slowly starting to realize that that may not be the case. And so one of the downsides is treating when you don't have to treat, or it's not necessary to treat, or there's not, the mite count isn't high enough to where you need to treat, and therefore you could cause the colony to abscond when they otherwise would have been just fine. So lesson learned. I plan on doing mite washes going forward. It was a matter of, again, if you've watched my previous videos, I've told you should do mite washes. I mean, that's the universally accepted practice. There's lots of reasons why you should do mite washes. To me, it was a timing issue. I'm very busy. I have young kids involved in all of the sports, and I just don't have a lot of time in the yard. And as a result, mite washes just tended to fall down the priority level. With that said, I need to make a concerted effort next year to do mite washes before and possibly after treatments. I know that there's lots of people say you need to wash even after treatments to see how effective it was, because there's even instances where after you've treated for mites, the mite loads climb going into the wintertime. Okay. I also want to get to the point where I am on purpose proliferating and spreading good hygiene behavior, queens and colonies that exhibit good natural mite control within the apiary. I want to spread those genes, right? I want to duplicate them. I want to do splits from those colonies. If you don't do mite washes, how do you know which colonies are exhibiting good hygienic behavior, especially as it comes to grooming mites and keeping the mite loads down naturally? Those are the genetics that we as beekeepers should be seeking and spreading throughout wherever you are, because the Varroa destructor mite is public enemy number 1. I don't care where you are. So anyway, I want to go ahead and just see how some of these colonies are doing. All of them have 1-to-1 sugar syrup on. I've been refilling the syrup. I've got more behind me, and as the syrup is low, as I go through the colonies here, I'll continue to look. I'm down to 11 colonies. I'm afraid this one's going to fail, so I'll probably be down to 10. I think the remaining 10 colonies are doing very well. All of the colonies have the Apiguard off. I did a 3-week treatment, 25 grams, 1 week apart for 3 weeks. Now that's a half dose for even single brood. But even at that level, you know, we had some hot Kentucky summer days here. It's going to get brutally hot next week, and the 97, 95 with the heat index of 103, something along those lines. But all the treatment, all the Apiguard is off. So I'm hoping the colonies that are remaining, the 11 out of the 15. I'm hoping that they're doing well. I have one colony that's trying to requeen itself, maybe two. I have to double check on that. I think the colony next to it is trying to requeen itself also. So I'm going to take a look at that one as well, see if we can find a new queen. And if so, I'll go ahead and mark her. But yeah, that's where we're at today. I don't have a lot of time. It's getting kind of late of the evening, so I'm going to go ahead and take a look at these colonies and see how they're doing. I also have the IPM boards out of all the colonies. So I left the IPM boards in. You know, the directions of ApiGuard say don't restrict the entrances. What does that mean? It's very subjective. Does that mean leave them wide open, don't have an entrance reducer? Does that mean don't cover and restrict any of the activity coming in and out? What does that mean? I leave my entrances, 1 to 2 inches all year long, and that's worked well for me so far. But it does tell you to put the IPM boards in because the ApiGuard, the thymol gas, is heavier than air, and it will settle down. And if you use all open screen bottom boards like I do, the thymol gases will just leave the hive, and that pretty much renders the treatment not completely ineffective. Actually, the literature says, we don't really know. We think it's okay. We don't know. Maybe not. But it's like, man, it's like this. It's like formic acid with the Formic Pro or the Mite quick strips and stuff. These chemicals are harsh. The bees don't like them. They'll leave. Sometimes they'll beard. Sometimes they'll abscond. Which in this case, I've never had a colony abscond due to ApiGuard before. So, but hey, that's beekeeping. First time for everything. It's okay. It's fine. I now have silver lining, positive thinking. I now have 4 full sets of hives to catch all these swarms that I am inevitably going to have next spring. So, and that's fine. We still have dealing with some ants on this row here. Had to deal with ants way worse than any of the others, which is super annoying. But whatever, it is what it is. I think this colony is doing okay, but I'm anxious to see. And I do have syrup on here, so I'm just going to go ahead and remove it. And then remove the Vivaldi board and try to do a quick inspection and just see how they're doing. This smoker is giving me fits today. Not really wanting to stay lit, which happens sometimes when you're in a hurry, which I'm in a hurry today. All right, so let's see what we're working with here. Oh. Okay. Okay. Got a little bit of Gorilla Tape on the front because there was some robbing activity going on next door. Again, as I think, scanning for the queen here, as I think that that colony is just failing. And so this time of year, when a colony is failing, they are just really susceptible to robbing. Okay, looks good here. I'll go ahead and this colony, I think this queen's been ramping back up. Just looking at what's in there. Okay, I'm gonna set this aside. I'm optimistic that this hive is doing pretty good after the treatment, so they may be the lone survivor here on Murder Row. That's probably not appropriate, but it's just, man, they've just been, I mean, these 4 colonies have been fighting ants all year. It's just they seem to have it worse than the others. Okay. As expected, it's not like they're drawing any new wax or anything. Let's see what we got here. We should have a marked queen in here. Okay, so, you know, the good news is they're starting to store the sugar syrup that I've given them on this frame. I can see it already in here. It's very clear looking. So that's good. But we should have a 2023 red dot queen in here that, you know, should be laying. It's been a week and a half since I've pulled the almost 2 weeks since I pulled the apiguard off these colonies, if my memory is serving me correctly. So I'm just scanning here. Looks like we got more syrup on here. The downside of inspecting hives this late of an evening is I don't have the sun over my shoulder, and so trying to look down inside cells is rather difficult, but I'm going to make the most of it here. Let's see what we got here. I'm just hoping to see some brood. I don't even need to find my queen. If I can just see some, there she is though. If I can just see some signs of life, here, let me show you her highness here. There she is. See her? So she's a good looking queen, 2023. I'm just looking for signs of her laying, and I don't see them yet, to be honest with you. So, she sure acts like she's on a mission here, but it's so dark out here. Oh, wait a minute. I see eggs. Oh, I hope the camera can pick it up. There are eggs in those cells. I don't know if you can see them on the camera. Right there's one. So, good deal. She seems to be doing well. She's at the bottom of the frame here. She's probably going to go on the other side. Yep, there she goes. So I'm going to go ahead, put this frame back in. They're doing well. This is good. This is what I wanted to see. This is what you should expect after a round of apiguard, which, goodness, they're right. This can really shut your colonies down. I just don't want to disrupt them anymore, honestly. I just want to close them back up. There may be a nice frame of brood here, and brood, because I see bees in the seams here and here. So there could be other frames in here where she's already blanketed it with eggs, but I don't want to mess with this hive. They're doing what they should be doing, and sometimes you can over intervene. So I want this colony to get into winter doing well. So right now the focus on this colony is to feed. I want lots of weight in this colony. You know, a single deep, you know, if I heft this right now, they're still very light. Very light. The good news is there's many, many months still before we get into the winter months. And so it's kind of nice. It's pretty simple at this point with this colony, is just to keep an eye on it. She should be laying her winter bees, her fat bees, and the rest of the bees should start storing all this sugar syrup that I'm giving them. I'll put this Vivaldi board back on. Now I was looking at those. Jake was nice enough to bring over one of those Dadant. What do you call them? I'm gonna try to get some of these bees off the bottom. It's always a pain when you got these feeders. You end up squishing some of the bees. There we go. He was kind enough to bring over one of those Dadant 10-frame wooden feeders that can hold 3.5 gallons of syrup. I mean, that's awesome. That's particularly useful if you don't have the opportunity to get into your hives very often and you're trying to get a lot of food in the hives at once. So I'm hoping to get one of those soon from him, maybe a few of them, and I'll go ahead and do a review and kind of show you how you use them, how they work, and then we can just kind of learn together, because I've never used one, but I have a lot of people telling me that they work great, and it's a really nice way to get a lot of weight on the hive as you're trying to get these bees ready for wintertime. Because that's where we're at right now, is the queens are raising those fat bees that have to last several months through the winter. You know, we've already extracted and pulled our honey for the year, so it's really down to getting these, whether you have doubles or singles, it's about getting the appropriate weight that is necessary to get your bees through the winter into next spring. And that's where we're at. So this colony looks great. I'm pleased. She's laying again. That's awesome. Apiguard really shut down a lot of my queens, man. I mean, it just really, with the exception of the 4 that's over here that we'll get to maybe later, a lot of these colonies, though, even obviously the ones that absconded, but these right here, it's just like the queens were just like, we're done. We're done, man. And sometimes it can be, I was asking Jake about this, it can be a catch-22. I mean, especially, now I didn't test for mites, and that's on me. And maybe I treated hives that shouldn't have been treated, and as a result, I lost them and they absconded. So, you know, you learn your lessons in beekeeping. But he even had hives that he did mite wash, very high mite loads, treated with Apiguard, and they absconded anyway, right? Now, was it because of the high mite loads? Maybe. Was it because of the treatment? Maybe. Who knows? But the end result's the same. They left. They're like, we're out of here. So it happens. It's kind of a catch-22 sometimes with these, and which is why I really appreciate what the advanced beekeepers are doing, which is where I want to be, where they are actively pursuing bees that are exhibiting that sort of mite hygienic behavior, the grooming behavior to naturally keep the mite loads down. I think that's where we want to be. And nature has a way of doing this stuff, folks. So, you know, this colony got 3 weeks of Apiguard. They're still here. The queen is now laying again. I saw fresh eggs. I expect that this colony is going to continue to improve over time. You know, it's August. They've got September, October, November. We don't really get usually cold here in Kentucky until the November-ish, December-ish time frame. So she's still got several months to start raising those fat bees. And this colony is going to keep, you know, sucking down the sugar syrup, which I'm gonna keep feeding these colonies, these hives, and I think she'll do well. So let's go ahead and move on to the next colony, and let's see how they're doing. Okay, let's take a look and see how this colony's doing now. We got grasshoppers everywhere. These guys are all over the field. Anyway, go on. Okay, as I was saying, let's see how this colony is doing. So this colony was requeening itself. This was a split from, I believe, hive number 4, and it's been almost a month. And so you really want to leave these new splits alone for a month for several reasons. You can overly disrupt a hive. It takes a while for the queen to get mated, to start laying. You can do more damage than good by prematurely wanting to peek inside and get inside these hives right in the middle of them doing their thing. And so I've explained this in more detail in previous videos, but I'm curious to see how this hive is doing. I did not have any mite treatment on this hive. I did have syrup on it. I'm really fighting this dumb smoker today. Sometimes that happens. So let's see what's going on in this hive. Let's see where they're at with their syrup levels too. Okay. Okay. Take this feeder off. It looks pretty good in there, but we'll see if we got a queen yet. I did bring my marking pen in case I do find her. And she's in here. It's up here. Get this Vivaldi board off. A lot of bees in here. So let's go ahead and scan this inner cover. These look pretty good. Okay, I don't see her on here. Go ahead and shake these bees off. Most of them. Okay. Probably good enough. Pretty good sized colony. 8 or 9 seams of bees here, so we'll see how they're doing. Let's see if we got any brood in here. Any signs of a laying queen. Be nice. It'd be awesome, considering all the absconding issues I've been having. Quick scan on this outer frame. Looking here just to see if it's so hard to see when you don't have the sun out doing these late night. Okay, now I can see. No, nothing here. Go ahead and try to set these. Well, I got those bricks in the way. That wasn't very smart. Go ahead and set these girls down here and go on to the next one. And I see some syrup in here, so that's good. Okay. Just quickly looking for signs of life for the queen. Don't see her. Go ahead and set this frame down as well. And on these, you know, these late summer, dreary or rainy days, the bees generally aren't in the greatest of mood. Well, let's see what we're looking at here. No, don't see anything there. And they're out of syrup, so I will make sure to refill them for sure. Goodness, it's hard to look in these cells. You know, a good sign is the bees on those frames that are outside of the hive are starting to roar. So it's possible that means that they can't detect their queen anymore, so they're starting that queenless roar. Possible. We'll see. Let's see what else we got here. And if I recall correctly, this colony had 4, maybe 5 emergency queen cells in it the last time I looked. So, you know, the opportunity to have 4 or 5 virgins emerge. I still don't see any eggs or any signs of new life here. Okay. I'm also kind of looking for drones because I'm curious. You know, we're getting to that point where drones are getting kicked out of hives. So if a colony isn't queen right, you're looking at either buying a queen or combining with a queen right colony, you know, this late in the year. Oh, I see brood. That's awesome. That is freaking awesome. Yep, and I see young larvae, eggs. Okay, so that's fantastic. You know, I mean, I've been pretty discouraged with the absconding, and to see that somewhere in here I have a nice newly mated queen. That's awesome. That's how it should be. So nice, beautiful pearly white larva on this frame. I'll show you. It's dark out, so I don't know how well the camera is going to pick this up. Let me blow on these bees to get them out of the way. There you go. Can y'all see that? Looks really nice. So she's clearly successfully mated and made her way back. And that's what we wanted to see. I'm going to continue to look for her here, because if I can find her, I'm going to mark her. But I'm not going to spend all day. Not that there's that much daylight left. I'm not going to spend a ton of time here looking for her, but I'd love to see if I could find her real quick and put a red dot on her. Okay, let's try the next frame. I'm wondering if there's even more brood on the next one. I'm gonna have to quit soon because it's just getting too dark. This colony needs fed though. I mean, they're just light. Light. And I don't see brood on this one yet. Oh, there she is. Wait a minute. She's already marked. Well, now that would be something, wouldn't it? She's a dark queen too. I'm going to grab her, put her in this marking cage, and put a... Well, I tell you, I'm scratching my head at this one, folks. Because this colony was... Well, at least I thought they were queenless. There she is. All right, let's go ahead and get her in there. Okay. Well, we got a worker bee in there with her, but I see she's a dark queen too. I see a red dot on her. I have no idea. I don't know. See her in there? There she is. And she's got a faint red dot on her. So what's going on here? Did one of the colonies that absconded, did she move in there? I'm so confused. I have no idea. I'm just I'm giving up this year, trying to figure stuff out. I have no idea. But this colony looks good, doing well. And I got a laying queen in here. And I'm going to mark her again, because that paint has worn off. So, whatever. Oh, goodness. I mean, it's so dark out here, I can't tell if there is paint on her. It looks like there is. Get out of there. I can't tell, guys. I have no idea. But she's getting a red dot now, so. Okay. We're going to mark her good this time. Okay. Let me see if I can see how she's doing. Oh yeah, that looks good. So, show you the end result here. I don't know how well you'll be able to see. See that dot on her? Can sure see that one. So I'm going to leave her in here just a minute or two to let that paint dry. Go ahead and get this frame put back in and colony button back up. Thankfully, this colony's doing pretty good. It's just, you know, I mean, is it discouraging that the colonies that absconded? Absolutely. And I still have another couple colonies that don't look like they're doing too well, so there may be more. Yeah, that sucks, folks. Is it part of beekeeping? Yeah. Could I do better? Yeah, always. Find me the perfect beekeeper and I'll find you a liar. um, I, you know, like everyone, I'm still learning. I still sometimes learn my lessons the hard way. Well, she's pretty angry with me. All right. Trying to tag me on the hands there. Yep, she is too. I know you guys are done. I get it. They're probably extra irritated because I got their queen out of the hive now. But yeah, you know the old saying, it is what it is. So I'm just trying to get this colony full of food. Get this colony's light also. Now, some of these colonies to my right here, they've got plenty of food in them, which is nice. That's encouraging. But these ones that are light, I'm going to keep, feeding the syrup, and try to get a lot of weight on these colonies heading into winter. So that's the game plan anyway. So let's see if she's about. See if that paint. Hopefully that paint's about dry. She's pretty vigorous. She's pretty feisty. That's for sure. Which is good. Those young new queens are pretty prolific layers, and they do really well. So that's why some people replace their queens every single year. I do not. I just don't have a big enough operation where I can afford to be pinching queens left and right and raising new queens and blah, blah, blah. I mean, I'm just your backyard enthusiast. So let's go ahead and get her back into the colony here. There she goes. All right, down she goes. Looking good. So let's go ahead and get this Vivaldi board back on the colony. All right. Get this feeder back on, and I'll go ahead and refill that. So we've got okay, that looks good. So we need to get 40 to 40 pounds, 50 pounds of syrup on these colonies, which is why that feeder Jake was showing me, 36 pounds, is it 35 or 36 pounds in one shot, 3.5 gallons of syrup in one shot? Man, that sounds really appealing to me. And I'm not commercial, so I don't have 100, 200, 500,000 hives where I can't get out here but once a month like some of these folks, And I understand that's why they have these bigger, more rapid feeders. But I'll tell you what, it's starting to appeal to me because just not having to come out here as an ant every other day and refill these with sugar syrup, there's something to it. So, but yeah, this colony is doing great. So colony 1 and colony 13, thankfully, are doing well. And, that makes me happy because I have other colonies that are not. So, yeah, so it goes. Okay. The good news is I don't have to mark this one as queenless anymore, so we'll take this brick off. Like I told you guys in the previous video, I'm going to start doing what my buddy Don does and start putting colored bricks on the top. I may do it this winter. I may not do it this summer or fall because I'm too daggum busy. But if I got some time this winter, I may paint a bunch of little tiny bricks and have some sort of color code system, and I'll share that with y'all in the spring. Whatever I come up with, because I'm not looking at my app out here while I'm in the hives. I'm just not doing it. My hands are covered in wax and propolis and sticky goo and sugar syrup and everything else. I'm not going to be fumbling with my phone. Plus, if I'm recording a video, I'm using my phone right now. So, but yeah, that's it. So the good news is these two colonies are doing pretty well. We'll keep, working our way through these, seeing how the colonies are doing, assessing them, seeing if they're queen right. You need to be looking at that this time of year. After you do your mite treatments, how's the colony doing? Is the queen laying? Are you seeing good signs? Ideally, you should be doing post-mite treatment washes, which you all can hold me to that next year. I said I'm going to do it, so hold me to it. Next year, I'll do post-treatment washes to see how much of a kill I got, how well that worked. And yeah, we'll go from there. I'm tired. I'm just worn out. You know, work has been very busy for me lately. Just, you know, honey sales, people contacting me, you know, and I'm grateful for that. Lots of people really seem to be enjoying the bees in the weeds. If you hear a bell ringing, that is my wife. And this is coming in a future video. So here's a little bit of a spoiler alert for you. So we kind of did a thing, and we have 10 guinea fowl now. So those are, for those of you that don't know, that's like a chicken, but they're closer to like a turkey. So these guineas are in our backyard in their coop, and we're brand new to this, so we're learning as we go. But we're ringing the bell close to dark when we want the guineas to return to their coop, and we have treats for them, mealworms. And so we're trying to associate them with the ringing of a bell with the guineas coming back and getting a treat and coming back to the coop. So if, I don't know if you can hear the bell ringing or not. She's over there in the back of our property ringing this bell, loud as heck. And hopefully, you know, the guineas are all coming to her to get the mealworms. That's what we're trying to think of it like crate training a dog or something. I mean, it's just, you know, we're trying to get these guineas to associate that coop as their home, because they're far more wild than your standard chickens. But our first time doing this, we are completely ignorant on the topic. We're learning as we go. We're watching YouTube videos and reading books on it and talking to fellow guinea owners, which is what you should do. Honestly, it's very similar to what you should be doing on beekeeping, reading lots of books, talking to fellow beekeepers, joining a local beekeeping club, blah, 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 blah. Same type of thing. Learn from the people that have been doing this for a while and know what they're talking about. So very similar strategy there. But I'll show you guys the guineas in a future video if you want to see that. You can let me know in the comments if you'd like to see that. But they're characters and they're loud. But I've already told my neighbors, I'm like, hey, you know, we have woods completely surrounding our property here, folks. I've got 5 acres of woods over here. I've got 2 acres over here. Ticks galore. And so having bees, I need a natural form of tick control that is not spray or insecticides. Enter guineas. They are prolific tick eaters, I'm told. So that's why we got them, and we'll see how it works out. It's kind of a fun little journey we're going on. If it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out, so be it. But certain times of the year, every time I come out here to the bee yard, I'm pulling 1 or 2 ticks off my legs every single time. So I'm sick of it. My family's sick of it. My wife's sick of it. We've pulled ticks off of our kids. My mother-in-law got Rocky Mountain spotted fever from a tick bite here on our property. It's legit. I'll be extremely upset if I get that tick bite that causes the red meat allergy, because I love me some red meat. So I'm doing everything I can to try to kill these ridiculous ticks that I hate. They're like Satan's spawn, I swear to God, along with the horseflies. And I hear guineas eat horseflies too. So if those things take care of the ticks and the horseflies, they are welcome here on my property and around it as long as they want. So anyway, a little bit of a spoiler alert, but I was going to share that with you all. Just let me know if you want to see a quick video on the guineas. I think they're pretty funny. I promise I won't spend too much time on them or anything, but let me know if you want to see that. So yeah, that's the video for tonight. I am quickly running out of daylight, so I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up. But I really appreciate you all watching, and I'll see you guys on the next video.